This is CW Sports.
CW Sports live in Hampton, Georgia. Atlanta Motor Speedway, 45 minutes south of the city, hosting NASCAR this weekend. Boy, you got a great Friday afternoon for qualifying in the Xfinity Series. Round 2 comes your way tomorrow on CW. And as we exit Daytona, some looking for a little bounce back here in the ATL. Others maybe looking to pick up their momentum and move it on down the road. And when you come to this place, you usually say this guy, Austin Hill, is the favorite. He swept the races here a season ago. Welcome in, everybody, with Jamie McMurray, Parker Kligerman. I'm Adam Alexander. Great to have you with us on this Friday afternoon. So we talk about favorites, and we could debate that. However, Jamie, I would say there is no debate on who brings in all the momentum.
No, Jesse Love, you see right here last week being able to win at Daytona. Had just a fairy tale race for him, Adam. You see him taking control of the race from Sheldon Creed right here, gains control, and no better feeling than this, coming to the white flag. He's able to get across the start-finish line. The Victory Lane Donuts in the infield at Daytona, no feeling quite like that. And to be honest, guys, there's probably no better track that Jesse Love would rather come to than Atlanta, where he sat on the pole for both races last year, dominated the race in the spring before running out of gas and letting his teammate Austin Hill win. But a lot of momentum, Parker, on Jesse Love's side.
No question about that. And when you talk about momentum, and Parker, let's talk about Atlanta Motor Speedway and what it takes to win here. You were second in the race in the fall, so you know some of the ins and outs of this place.
It was very close a couple times at this place, and I love it. This is basically taking Daytona and condensing it into a bowl. It almost feels like, at times, it feels like you're going 1,000 miles an hour. You're only going about 180. I can confirm that. But this place is just so unique because it is a mile-and-a-half super speedways in many respects. It's the only one like this in the sport. Turn 1 feels like you're turning into the corner forever. But in turn 3 here, unlike Daytona or Talladega, when you get up close to that wall, if you enter next to the wall on the entry portion, you will hit the wall. The track falls away from you, so there's a lot more treachery, and it's all condensed in a mile-and-a-half.
So I started off the top, and I said it's a beautiful day here. The pictures say it's beautiful. The temperature does not. Our pit reporters will confirm when we come back on CW.
Friday nights, you bring your A game. Flirty walks, you bring your A game. Bring your A game when taking care of your sexual wellness and include Apertude, a prescription medicine used to reduce the risk of HIV. Apertude helps give you continuous protection when taken every other month, and it's proven superior to once daily PrEP in reducing the risk of HIV.
You must be HIV negative to receive Apertude and get tested before each injection. If you think you are exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. More HIV testing may be needed. Apertude does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections. Practice safer sex to reduce your risk. Get Apertude as scheduled. Missing doses increases your HIV risk. Don't take Apertude if allergic to it or taking certain medicines that may interact. Tell your doctor about your medical conditions, liver problems, and mental health. Serious side effects include allergic reactions or rash, liver problems, and depression. If these occur, get medical help right away. The most common side effect is injection site reaction.
You bring your A game to everything you do. Ask your doctor about Apertude.
Have you been seeing strange things? Things that you can't explain?
This is no fairy tale. You are one of the last Grimms. You have to hunt down the bad ones.
I was ready to start building my credit, but I didn't want a credit card with fees, interest, or end up in expensive debt. So I got the Chime Credit Builder card, and I use it for everything. There's no annual fees, no interest, and there's no minimum deposit required. My card limit is based on my own money, and Chime can cover me up to $200 on top of that, fee-free. My credit score is in the 700s, and I just got approved for a mortgage. Join the millions of Chime members like me building credit every day at Chime.com.
The thing about traveling with your kids is that each year they get bigger, but the hotel stays the same size. Get an Airbnb and get room for everyone.
38 vehicles from the NASCAR Xfinity Series lined up on the pit lane, ready for qualifying here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. I said going to break. It's cold here in Hampton, Georgia. I want a confirmation, though. Let's go down to pit road and hear from Kim Kuhn. How are you, Kim?
I'm I'm cold, Adam. If you want your confirmation, I've got 4 layers on, a pair of tights, a pair of pants, wool socks, a beanie, or toboggan, depending on where you're from. Right now, the temperature says it's 46 degrees, feels like 52. I'm going to argue no to that, feels like 52. It feels like it's like 35 degrees down here. A couple things to keep in mind as we talk these cool temperatures. The sun's going to set at 6:27. That is approaching the end of that second round of qualifying. We're going to see grip continue to gain on the racetrack. So for those drivers that make their final qualifying lap as the sun starts to set, they're going to have the most grip, maybe some of the faster speeds. The other thing to keep in mind, these temperatures very similar to what we'll see tomorrow. It's going to be slightly warmer, but cold temps again for what is going to be a 5-ish o'clock start and a sun setting into the race.
All right, Parker, set me up here. We're leaving the pits. What are we doing?
Well, this place is interesting because you just get this one lap. So one of the tougher things is literally getting your wheel set. You don't even get that chance to move the car, so you try to do that as you're going on pit road. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. For CJ here, I hope he got it right. He's first up to the top of the track. Thankfully, we had trucks earlier, which sort of cleaned the track off, because although this place is flat out, fairly easy by yourself in qualifying, when you come to the green up there next to, in 3 and 4 up next to the wall, if it's dusty and dirty, you can literally feel the car sliding around.
Yeah, and I felt bad for CJ last week, Adam. He tried to qualify, the rain came, he wasn't able to make the race. Hopefully he's going to have enough today to lock himself into the race and be a part of this.
Well, you know, the bad news is last week we had 41 cars there, so only the 38 here will, you know, get him in for tomorrow afternoon. And, you know, here's the other thought. 2 rounds of qualifying. Round 1 sets the field 11 to 38. Top 10 advanced to run for the pole in round 2, and the lap record for C.J. McLaughlin in the 92, 32.325 seconds.
And I spoke to C.J. earlier today. You know what's something fun about C.J.? He was just excited to be here. I love that.
Always.
He's just pumped to be here, being a race car. Good for C.J.
Carson Ware, second car out in the 74. He's another of those drivers that failed to qualify last weekend at Daytona.
And that always hurts. You don't get to do the first race. It's, you know,
well, you're still rusty, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
everyone else got that chance, right? And so you're just sort of trying to get in the groove with everyone else. And so obviously with everyone locked in, it's a lot better. But it's just you're sort of starting on the back foot compared to everyone else when you jump into this race after trying to be there last weekend.
Yeah, the other thing to pay attention for is you see 74 cross the start-finish line is when you leave the pits, the guys that have a lot of confidence in their car, have a lot of experience in the car, they run a little bit higher through 3 and 4 than some of the other guys. I saw CJ kind of splitting that top white hash marks that you see around that. Some of the really quick cars will be right up against the wall, and you do that just trying to make the track a little bit longer, generate just a little bit more speed.
Carson Ware is second, 32.91 for him. Here's the 10 of Daniel Dye, rookie driver from Florida, who last week at Daytona had his day in before it got going. Lap 5 involved in a crash, finished dead last 38th. First race in his first full-time season.
Yeah, and this is going to be a good benchmark for guys like C.J. McLaughlin to see where they're going to rank. This is a collared car. We know they typically run well at speedway races, which is where we're at. So we'll see what Daniel can run right here. 32.08. It's a pretty good lap time based on what we saw from the pole here a year ago at 31.84. So a couple tenths off of that, but I would still feel pretty good at where CJ is at getting a good result in.
I think it's a solid lap, but you're definitely possibly going to see faster speeds here just with the cool temperatures. This is pretty cool. Motors make a lot of power in this temperature. There's a lot of grip. The car's not going to move around too much, and that just equals more lap time.
5 drivers here this weekend from the state of Georgia. And the closest to home, Brandon Jones, native of Atlanta. Started his career driving at RCR, went to Joe Gibbs Racing where he won 5 times, bounced to Junior Motorsports last couple of years. And for 2025, back at JGR and driving that number 20 Toyota.
And he was ready to get out of Daytona, Adam, because he got wrecked early, finished 37th. He goes to the top of the board, 32.02.
6 100s quicker than Daniel Dye, tight at the top. Another Georgia driver here, 28 is Kyle Sieg.
And this is kind of interesting that we've seen out of Siegs is his brother's team, Ryan Sieg, their car's being run out of North Carolina. Kyle's is still being run here out of Georgia. But one of the things this team told me is Kyle's been joining Ryan at the simulator in the offseason a little bit more. So getting some more simulator time. That's not really going to help you here in Atlanta. There's not much you can sim for here. But as we go through this season, just sort of the improvements the Siegs as a whole are making across their program.
Yeah, and I was shocked with Kyle. Like, he hasn't been racing that long. Like, started racing in 2019, hasn't been around, started riding super late models, he told me, and obviously now in the Xfinity Series has 82 starts, but it's pretty impressive to see how quick he's come along.
He goes fourth, 32.58. You know, his first career start, talking about Kyle Sieg, was at Dover. And we said, boy, you talk about jumping into the deep end of the pool. He said, I talked to my older brother Ryan about that, and he said, you got to learn somewhere, so you might as well go to one of the most difficult places. And that's exactly what happened. Blaine Perkins drove for RSS Racing last year. This season comes over to pilot the 31 for Jordan Anderson Racing.
And that should be a pretty big competitive bump for him this season, just with the cars that Jordan Anderson Racing was putting on the racetrack and the motors they have at ECR. These cars were really fast at speedways. We saw his teammate Jeff Burton be pretty fast at Daytona last week. So slotting in fourth right here to 32.5. I'm not sure they'll be too happy about that lap, but don't be fooled.
32.55, that is P4 right now.
Well, I stand corrected. P4 right now. See how it stands out.
Here's another driver that should put up a pretty good benchmark. When you talk about an opportunity to put yourself into the second round of qualifying, maybe even compete for the pole, one of our 8 rookie drivers, Nick Sanchez in a 48.
Things on the ground, some sparks through 1 and 2.
Oh, that feels good, though.
He told me before, he said, I'm putting this thing on the ground. So you can see that now. That can make it handle really well. We'll see what kind of lap time they can throw down. But there is going to be sort of a discrepancy between some cars that choose for handling here in Atlanta and some that are going to go for outright speed. He'll slot in third with 32.1.
Yeah, that 32.14, I mean, almost a tenth off of what Daniel Dye put up. So that puts into perspective how good Daniel's lap was, and in particular, Brandon Jones, who's the best of the bunch so far.
I love getting to hear the crew chief come on the radio, or whoever's telling them the time off of turn 2, because you can tell by the tone of their voice whether what they expected or if they're disappointed.
Chris Wright in the 5 for Our Motorsports. Last year, this team had Anthony Alfredo behind the wheel. Anthony finished top 15 in the standings. So I would say this group a season ago overachieved. Chris, with some disappointment at Daytona, had the big moment coming onto pit road and a cycle of green flag pit stops, and hoping to bounce back here at Atlanta. He is 7th of the 8 drivers that have been on track.
You know, guys, of the cars that we've seen run so far, CJ McLaughlin's time is holding up pretty well. Yeah. I mean, he's 4th of the 8 cars that have run. I think that's a great accomplishment for that team.
I thought we might see a little faster times than we've seen here last year, just with these cool temperatures. Going on board, Garrett Smith. Let's just take a listen for a second. You can hear it flat out.
Parker, you can
on the earth.
The skirts just barely hit in. The thing I got out of that was you see him put his hand up for a millisecond in the back, and he's like, I got to get both hands back on the wheel.
That thing was on the ground.
And that's a nice reminder, no practice, just qualifying. You got one chance to get it right. William Sawalich, one of the drivers we'll see when qualifying rolls from Atlanta Motor Speedway on CW.
Folks have been calling this thing the Rising.
We're gonna need all the help we can get.
Why me? I'm nothing special.
Well, somebody thought you were. Damn apocalypse.
So, I heard you found someone special.
Yeah.
Is that dog food in the fridge?
It's not dog food. It's Fresh Pet. Real meat, real veggies for Peter.
That's Peter. Should have known.
Do make a pretty cute couple.
When I started college, so many people warned me about credit cards. They just seemed really scary. When I needed a car, I realized that I needed to build credit. So I got the Chime Credit Builder card because I could safely build credit without being afraid of fees or interest. And there was no credit check. My score went up over 60 points and I bought my first car. As a busy college student, having a car is an absolute must. I feel like I could do anything. My next goal, a 700 credit score. Join me at chime.com.
You could waste money on bottled water, or you could switch to Brita and save $240 a year, which you could spend however you want. Clearly, Brita.
Nine of 38 cars have been on track. It's the opening round of qualifying for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And next onto the track, the 44 of Brennan Poole. As he gets up to speed, we go down to Dylan Welch. Good afternoon, Dylan.
Hi, Adam. We've caught up with Josh Williams, who has had some good runs here in the past. Spring race here a year ago wasn't so great, but had a couple top 10s in the run since. So what do you like about this place? What works well here for you?
You know, Colleague brings some, really fast race cars with us, and like you said, the first race here last year, we had some bad luck and kept cutting tires. But, we had a shot to put us in position to have a good finish in the second one. So, we brought something similar like that back. And, these Colleague cars are as fast as Xfinity Mobile. So we'll keep this thing rolling. And I don't know, man, Daytona kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. So maybe we get some redemption this weekend.
Good luck.
Thank you.
It's interesting, Dylan talking to Josh, because Josh is rocking that mullet, right? And he's got the nice goatee going there. But boy, can Dylan work that beard. I mean, that thing is full out. So we got a lot going on in the facial hair category down on the pit lane.
Dylan thinks of himself as a country boy.
Well, he drives a truck.
He does. Pickup truck. Old pickup truck.
I mean, when you're from Indiana, you just kind of drive a truck, right?
Yeah,
and I know, because I, too, am from Indiana. Brennan Poole goes a 32.75.
Yep. Nope.
I'm sorry.
There it is. It's a stash.
That's it, man.
That's it. Yeah.
Let me tell you.
I think you have some coffee in there, and you save that for later. Or?
Dylan, we come back here in June. We come back here in June with the Xfinity Series. I would have to start right now, and I couldn't get halfway there with that kind of mustache.
It's thick, Dylan, would be the word I would use. Bushy and thick.
I appreciate that. Trying to go for the Dale look,
You got it. Love it.
Parker Retzlaff out in the 4. He's another of those drivers that wants to bounce back from Daytona disappointment, and he's coming to a pretty good place. Top 5 here a season ago.
Yeah, and Brennan Poole ran right before Parker Retzlaff, and is P9 right now, and I have to apologize to Brennan. I picked him as my dark horse at Daytona. He ran into me in the garage, and he's like, please don't ever pick me again. So, Brennan, I promise it'll be a while before I pick you again, buddy.
You gave him the commentator curse.
I did. I'm sorry about that.
Retzlaff is 5th, 32.41. I would say this driver's going to lay down a hot one.
This will set the mark.
Absolutely. That's what, and everybody in the pit area be looking to see what Austin Hill is able to run, because the RCR cars have just dominated on the drafting style tracks for the past 3 or 4 years.
And sometimes they won't be faster by a little bit. It will be a lot in qualifying, the 2 and the 21 car. It's amazing what they're able to make happen in qualifying and just the speed they have. Still working that wheel a lot here for a place that should be fairly easy flat out.
Yeah.
It's just so rough.
No surprise, to the top by a couple attempts. 31.88 for Austin Hill.
88 there. Good job.
First driver to go south of 32 seconds. We talk about his success here. He's an hour from his hometown of Winston, Georgia. He's won them all different kinds of ways. Who was in that 48 going the wrong way?
It still hurts.
You know, it's funny. He's won here 4 times. His first 2 wins in 2022-23. He led over 170 laps. He swept the 2 races here last year and led 14. He just knows how to be in the right place at the right time.
And I always seem to be right behind him in the last couple of years as well. Every one of those shots, I'm right there. I'm just so close. But he has a knack for this, and these cars are so fast. It's the same thing as Daytona and Talladega. He's just a super speedway master.
Yeah, the amazing part about Austin Hill's lap just now, though, guys, he ran a 31.88. The pole last spring was 31.87. So RCR is almost duplicating exactly what they did 1 year ago.
Joe Gibbs Racing has won here twice in the draft configuration. Toyotas appear to have some speed here in qualifying. Jones is second. William Sawalich goes to third, 32.069. Sawalich doing double duty this weekend. He'll run the truck race tomorrow, qualified 23rd earlier today.
You know, we talk about lack of practice. Connor Zilich is running his first laps ever at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Going to go out and have to run wide open around this track. Talked to him in the garage earlier. He's obviously excited. My concern with Connor, I don't know if you saw this, Parker, but he hit his head, not in the car, but getting in the ambulance last week. I'm like, are we okay? Are we going to do that again?
And I'm going to steal this one from Adam. Jamie, you've never had that problem. Bumping your head.
Let the short jokes end now.
Connor's third, jumps up in front of Sawalich. Zilich in front of Sawalich. 32.031. If you look at our bumper, we're going to keep the top 10 highlighted. And the reason for that, as we said earlier, top 10 advanced to the second round of qualifying to run for the pole. Quick reminder, 38 cars here. Everybody going to make the show. Joey Gase on track as we send it to Kim.
Justin Allgaier getting ready to make his qualifying run. We look at Atlanta qualifying pretty straightforward, but the track 1 and 2 a little sharper than 3 and 4, which is sweeping. What is in your control as a driver?
Don't hit the apron. I told you that before we came on air. That's probably the biggest thing that you can do. This place is so unique now with the style of racing that it is. It's great from a driver's aspect in some aspects and not so great in others, right? Because of super speedway style, although not fully super speedway, it's very different. But proud to have the Georgia Governor's Office highway safety on the car. You know, buckle up, protect your melon. That obviously most important piece. We want to go as fast as Xfinity Mobile, but you also have to be safe when you're on the street. You know, that we'll save the speed for the racetrack. But cool to see the car. You know, I'm proud of this team. We had a really fast car last week, and I just felt like that we worked well with our Chevrolet teammates. We just didn't have the finish to show for it. And we come to another plate style racetrack where, you know, teammates and you know, Chevrolets are going to be important for us. But you got to have speed, and Jim Pullman and this team went to work after last week to figure out what we needed to do to come here and be faster, and I'm looking forward to it. My teammate's third, so we'll see what we can do.
Justin mentioning protect your melon on his car. If you look at the car, it's got a little bit of a watermelon paint scheme. That's usually something we associate with Ross Chastain. Justin told me Ross reminded him to protect his melon. If he wins, Ross is going to bring watermelon out to the start-finish line to Justin this weekend.
Ooh, I like that. I love watermelon.
I've never heard of another driver giving the other driver their celebration.
Well, I'll tell you this. It's safe to say that Justin Allgaier's never hit his head getting in an ambulance either, guys.
Now, wait a minute. So the campaign is protect your melon. But if you win in the car that's promoting protect your melon, we're going to destroy a watermelon right here on the pit lane.
This is a real confusing one. My brain is in a pretzel at the point.
A couple of things here. So Joey Gase went out. He's 16th of 16. Eric Almirola in the 19, first of 9 starts for Joe Gibbs Racing, put his Toyota on the board 7th. And here's another Junior Motorsports Chevrolet. Sammy Smith goes to 5th on the board.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what Eric can do in that 19 car tomorrow, because he's one of the best drafters in the field. He's been really good for years at Cup. Obviously winning 3 races last year in the Xfinity Series. I can't wait to see what he's able to do tomorrow.
I can assure you it's going to be good. Because when he
good.
showed up last year, if you looked at some of those stats we had up at one point, a 9.2 average finish in 14 starts. It was when he showed up, you took notice because you knew he was contending for a win. It was amazing what he did in those cars last year.
Always a good drafter, too. You know what I mean? You think about both his Cup and Xfinity career, he was always good at this style of racing, and you know, you just anticipate he's going to be a player. 71 of Ryan Ellis, looking for his first career top 10. And there was a period last week where I'm like, it's going to happen today.
It looked like it. He was on the bottom in the top 10. He looked like he was in a great position. It just didn't quite pan out. But for Ryan Ellis, this could be another opportunity here tomorrow. He could get that top 10 finally. It's another drafting style track. Maybe it's going to be his night.
Halfway home in round 1 qualifying. It's the NASCAR Xfinity Series live on CW. Happy you're here.
On the CW, the future happens here.
In 3 years, they could be the main event at WrestleMania.
Welcome to NXT.
Hey.
Aunt May.
Thanks so much for hosting, sweetie. I hear you found someone special.
Yeah, He's a keeper.
Is that dog food in the fridge?
It's not dog food. It's Fresh Pet. Real meat, real veggies for Peter.
That's Peter? Should have known.
You do make a pretty cute couple.
Parents have a lot of reasons to worry. Water shouldn't be one of them. Brita Elite is certified to remove 99% of lead. Clearly, Brita.
Xfinity Series qualifying here at Atlanta Motor Speedway with Parker Kligerman, Jamie McMurray. I'm Adam Alexander, Kim Kuhn, Dylan Welch hanging out on the pit lane. Here comes the 42, Anthony Alfredo, new team this season. Didn't have the best finish last week at Daytona, but you know what he did? He got some stage points, and it's moments like that that allowed him a year ago to finish top 15 in points, and not too bad out of the gates for this new race team, Young's Motorsports.
I really think that was a strong start for them. I was talking to Anthony about it earlier today, and he was telling me how, obviously the stage points were big, but he was talking through his thought process, what he was doing and where he was placing the car. But he's really excited about this phase of the season because these cars they have at Young Motorsports, they're old Ganassi cars, or essentially Trackhouse. But basically, he said they're all the same. Unlike what he was in a situation last year where they had a mix of different cars from different places, that sort of thing. He said, what really excites me here, we've got great engines and all the cars are the same. So if we know we've hit something, we can build on that. And he was able to run top 15 points last year. I think he can improve on that here at Young Motorsports.
And let me clarify. I said new team. Young's is not a new team.
Yeah,
new team
for him.
For Anthony this season.
I was going to correct you, but I thought
and I would expect that. Usually Jamie actually corrects me.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Alfredo is ninth, Kim.
And for Jeremy Clements, he's creeping closer and closer to that 500th Xfinity Series career start. That happens next week. This week, though, making his 20th Atlanta start, most of any driver. When I mentioned that to Jeremy, he said, I don't like that. It makes me feel old. But it means you're a veteran. So how does a veteran approach racing at Atlanta, especially with the reconfiguration?
Yeah, well, this place is a total different animal now. I got some experience coming here driving through Atlanta traffic, so I feel good about tomorrow. But yeah, it's another plate race, so you just gotta hold the throttle down, make the best moves. Hopefully you don't get wrecked and be there at the end. And this place is fast Xfinity Mobile now with the way the banks are, and it's so tight in the corners, barely get three wide and feel comfortable. But it's a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. We got a lot of great partners from the Atlanta area, All South Electric and everybody. I also want to wish my sister a speedy recovery. She's in the hospital. I love you, Jennifer.
Let me just say, you guys remember watching like the Weather Channel when they kind of oversell like how high the winds are, and then you kind of get like a better glimpse of it, and it really wasn't that bad?
I'm probably too young.
I feel like that's Kim right now. I saw her dressed for Alaska, and Jeremy's next to her, and it's just regular clothes on. Doesn't look that cold, Kim.
And he's from South Carolina, so he should be cold.
Jamie, I'm from Florida. I am a Florida girl, so I'm allowed to call this cold.
You may, ma'am, you may.
While Kim was visiting with Jeremy, Leland Honeyman went 17th. And how about Josh Williams? Who saw this coming? Second behind Austin Hill, 32.017 for the driver from Florida.
Those College cars can be fast at these speedways when they find it and hit it right in qualifying. They're also usually very fast in the race. And this car right here, Ryan Sieg, Another local from Georgia. This is the one many people may be paying attention to. Still looking for that first win. I've got a feeling, guys.
Ooh, you said it earlier.
I said it
you
earlier.
Like it?
I like this one for tomorrow. I really do.
Boy, it'd be a popular win to be a Georgia boy, be like Austin Hill, being able to win here, to win at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And he has been so close. You think about Vegas last year, Texas with Sam Mayer. Ryan Sieg's done everything but win.
His lap puts him 8th on the board of the 22 that have been on track. 32.088 seconds for Ryan Sieg. 3 runner-up finishes last year. He's had 5 total in his career, and he had his heart broke here in 2022, leading at the white flag. A little crossover move for Ty Gibbs, and he was unable to get it done. 53 is Mason Maggio, making his first start of the year. Did not compete last week at Daytona.
Yeah, he actually hasn't run an Xfinity series since Martinsville last year, and I just think it's so hard, Parker, for drivers to just jump in. And when you don't do this every single week, you take for granted when you get in a car, you're racing something every week, but to kind of bounce in and out, really hard for Mason.
Especially when you just fire straight off into a qualifying lap.
Wide open.
Like, hey, boy, welcome back.
I always love those Saturday morning qualifying sessions. It's 9 a.m. and you're about to go 185 into the corner, and you've had no practice. Maggio right in front of his teammate, 33.13 for the 53. Time to protect your melon. Here's Justin Allgaier in the 7.
Yeah, and watching the race back from last summer, 7 car did not have the finish he deserved, but he had the best handling car. It was really hot that day, Parker. I don't know if handling is going to be as important. It's going to be really fun for us to track that during the race, because now this track has another winter on it. How much grip has it lost? It's a little bit of an unknown for all these teams. The 7 car, really all the junior motorsports cars last summer here had the best handling cars. It'll be interesting to see if they're going to have fast cars tomorrow.
Right, and don't be scared if you don't see a fast lap here out of Justin.
Oh!
Well, he went to the P2, so we did. So that tells me, to your point, when they were here in the summer, they definitely went for that handling, higher downforce style setup. I would think looking at that speed in qualifying, this team has come prepared in the idea that this is going to be high grip. You need low downforce, and you want all the speed possible. That speed will transfer in the race.
Top 10 advanced to round 2. Hill and Allgaier feeling really good about that right now. Josh Bilicki out in the 91. Here's Dylan.
Let's see if we can step in and grab a word with Sam Mayer here real quick before he climbs aboard. Hey, last week, finally finished the Daytona Spring Race, finished 2nd. Not too bad for your debut with this team.
Yeah, I'm pumped about that for sure. Obviously, you're happy about finishing 2nd because it's a good finish and a good start to the year, but you're also upset because you're a race car driver and you want to win. So definitely lots to build off of for 2025. Really looking forward to keeping this rolling with the Haas Factory Autobell team. The cars are certainly as fast as Xfinity Mobile, so that's all we can ask for.
And cars, the Haas cars were good here last year as well in this race, so expect big things from both he and teammate Sheldon Creed tomorrow.
Just like Josh Bilicki's sponsor there, by the way, I want to point out, Flat Tech. I don't know why, but I thought that name looked kind of cool.
Do you want to say it 10 times fast?
I wanted to say it really badly on air.
Can you put Williams Zawalich and Connor Zillage in between there?
In between Flat Tech?
That's good. Here's the 45 of Mason Massey. Douglasville, Georgia is where he calls home. Best career finish in the Xfinity Series 2022 right here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, spent a little bit of time with him in the garage. He talked. I asked him, I'm like, what does you race? And he's like, dirt late models. And I said, well, why don't you try to just commit to one of these, like the Xfinity Series or the dirt late models? And he's like, Jamie, I still have the dream. He's like, I want to race in NASCAR. And he talked about, actually found the sponsor on Facebook, sent a message to this company, and has been able to build it over the years. And good for him to grind that out and to be able to piece all that together.
And you know who's also on Facebook? We found out earlier. You.
Yeah, I'm old. That's why.
Well, I'm older than you, and well, I'm not on Facebook. Let's go on board with Jeb Burton.
All right, Parker, I will tee you up.
You want
tell me? Just tell me what Jeb's nickname is now.
The dog.
Hey, it was gonna come out eventually anyway.
I was on that.
He texted me about it. He loved it.
I was impressed that the dog held his hand up to the window all the way around. He was committed to it. I like it.
Would you expect any less from the dog?
Oh, good for him.
Jeb Burton is 13th. Nick Sanchez right now the bubble driver. when you talk about those that have an opportunity to advance to round 2 and run for the pole. A rookie is on the bubble and a rookie is on track. Christian Eckes in the 16, 12th last week at Daytona.
Yeah, and has never run an Xfinity Series car here at Atlanta, only in his second start, but did win the truck race here. So I would always feel good if I hadn't won in the current series, if I'd won in anything at that racetrack. It gives you a good feeling coming to that, and based on what I see on that lap time, I'd feel pretty good about it too. P2 at 31.96.
I had high expectations based on what Williams and Dye delivered, and Eckes put it right up there. Second driver to go under 32 seconds. More qualifying in a moment.
It's the race that everyone works all year around to win.
There's so many things that can go wrong. It's so hard to win this thing.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, so I saved hundreds. With the money I saved, I thought I'd get a wax figure of myself. Cool, right? Look at the craftsmanship. I mean, I even got my nostrils right. It's just nice to know, years after I'm gone, this guy will be standing the test of time. He's melting. Oh, geez. No. Okay. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Equinox, starting under $30,000. And the all-electric Equinox EV, America's most affordable EV with a 315-plus mile range. Quality you expect and a dealer right down the street. It's your life, your choice.
It's my life, and I do what I want.
Or current qualified lessees can get this Equinox LT for around $259 a month. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
There's a place where legends are born. Before these champions ruled the ring, they reigned supreme right here on NXT, where the next generation of icons are rising.
This is what you want to go to.
Because the next big thing will be born in this ring.
Who knows? They could be the main event at WrestleMania.
NXT, stream free on the CW.
I hired a detective chomping at the bit to take the next step in his career.
Oh no. This is my little brother, Henry. I'm senior detective, so I'm basically your boss.
All married?
Oh, God.
Brother and sister.
I believe I'm right in saying that yesterday was National Pet Day.
We should ask Jamie Little.
Look at that puppy.
She would know.
For sure she would.
Look at little puppy.
I don't know, but I feel like that lady's going to be itchy. She needs to get out of the grass.
Well, it's Davis. That is.
I don't know, but I bet you that looks like her to chew some shoes up is what I bet.
10 cars remain in the opening round of qualifying. First of those, Matt DiBenedetto, fresh off an 11th place finish in the season opener at Daytona. I can't get the image. We had this during our race coverage on CW last week. I can't get the image of him on the squat rack with all those plates on the bar out of my head.
I contemplated videoing myself doing that this week.
I wish you would.
It wasn't the same look. It just
you
wasn't
wouldn't
the
have
same.
been here. We would have been visiting you in the hospital, actually, if you tried that.
Well, his bicep is about the size of your torso.
It's like my thigh. I know. I know. Good for him last week, though. I know there's a lot of unknowns for him coming into this year and an up-and-down career, but it feels so good when you can come out of the gate and have a decent finish, not tear a bunch of stuff up, come here. He's good at this type of racing. You think about how close he came to winning Talladega in the Cup Series years ago. So you have that momentum heading into another track that you know is a similar type of racing, Parker. It's just going to make you feel so good.
Yeah, I was talking to him earlier today, and he's in such a good place mentally. I feel
a big deal.
A lot of respects with this opportunity. He knows where it is. He knows it's a building process. He's got Pat Tryson there, who's so fun and funny. They end up 22nd right here. He did tell me they went the handling route, so they didn't expect to be too fast in qualifying, so maybe that'll pay off for them tomorrow. But I just feel like Matt is in a great place in his life at the moment, and just when you're in that position, that can create performance, and I think we're going to continue to see that team just build forward.
We're going to start locking drivers in to the second round to run for the pole. Austin Hill is in now. 9 to go. Here's Nick Lights.
Yeah, Nick, I love this color on this car. It's like candy apple red.
It's beautiful. I was admiring it in the garage. I was like, wow, I love this paint scheme.
Yeah, Nick, kudos to you on that. That is gorgeous car.
A+ the designer and Nick.
Ryan Sieg is on the bubble, and our tracker is comparing the lap on track to the driver that's trying to advance. Lights is 26, so he will not move on. For now, Sieg is safe, and both Hill and Eckes are locked into the second round of qualifying.
And Parker, how painful is it to sit down on pit road and be in like Sieg's position, just knowing that it's probably a matter of time, or if you're up where maybe Zilich is in 6th, trying to count the cars down, are we going to make it? It's such a, even though it's out of your control, it's such a big deal to make it to that final round.
Really depends where your dinner reservation is. If you feel like you want to get there earlier or later, I think for him it is frustrating because you kind of want that chance to prove you got a fast car.
And we obviously will put a camera on him, so we can see the disappointment immediately.
Great production and directing here.
If Jeremy Clements is able to knock him out of the top 10.
Caleb and Roger, well done.
For now, he's going to dodge. Clements goes 17th. Dylan?
Yeah, he is safe for now and keeping track of the timing and scoring. So I know Daytona didn't end like you wanted it to, but another chance here at your home track to run well. What kind of opportunity is this for your team this weekend?
Huge opportunity. We always bring fast Psyops Fords here, and all the guys have done a phenomenal job in the offseason to get our cars faster. We just wish we had a little bit more to make the second round and start better here. It's always track position, so we'll just have to see where we end up. But just got to thank everybody at Haas Factory and Ford and everyone that helps this group. Just hopefully bring a car as fast as this Xfinity Mobile tomorrow.
Got it in. Well done. Thanks, Ryan.
A+. Well done.
He references the fact he's driving a Ford. A Ford has won one time in the last 33 drafting races in the Xfinity Series.
Austin Cindric?
Austin Cindric at Daytona, yeah. Harrison Burton in a Ford goes 14th, so he will not move on. And here's Dean Thompson. You talk so much about the rookie class. This may be the most unheralded of the rookies in 2025, but boy, did he knock it out of the park at Daytona.
He had a massive night at Daytona, scoring stage points in both stages, getting a great top 10 finish. And I think the thing for Dean and this race team is what that does to propel them forward. If they even have a moderately good race here today and they into the third race next week, that gives you so much power in the learning process as we go to different types of tracks and the schedule starts to get more diverse. It's just a huge start for Sam Hunt Racing and Dean. I thought he did an awesome job, and he told me the thing that he did different than his other drafting races was he learned less is more in terms of the moves you make,
So
and he
true.
said it came to him.
17th for Thompson. He will not move on. Ryan Sieg remains on the bubble. Taylor Gray driving one of those Toyotas from Joe Gibbs Racing, trying to match his teammates, Jones and Sawalich up there in the top 7. And right now, Gray is tracking in the green.
Yeah, and he had a great Daytona, top 5 finish, and I feel like every restart we would see him up front, and then he was just quiet, didn't do anything crazy, was just kind of blended in all day, was able to survive, come up with a top 5 finish. Right here, he is going to be happy with this lap, yeah, into 7th at 32.04.
A couple of more cars go and he stays in front of them, and he'll lock a spot in to the next round of qualifying.
Sorry, Ryan Sieg.
Ryan exits stage left. Here's another rookie. Top 5, best of the rookies last week when you look at finishing position at Daytona. Carson Kvapil, the last of the Chevys from Junior Motorsports.
Favorite paint scheme. You know why?
I think I could tell.
Yes.
Did you have something to do with a paint scheme?
I had nothing to do with this, but when I saw this paint scheme, I'm like, that will be my favorite one all year long.
Are they throwing back to you?
It reminds me of 2010. What a great year, yes.
That is very cool.
You know what I really like is the paint scheme's nice. The tracker quite
Is
friendly
nice as
as
well.
Big time green for Carson Kvapil, and he's going to advance to round 2. Third he goes in the best from Junior Motorsports.
And that race team got a top 5 last week with an entirely new bumper cover on the back that had been ripped off entirely. They had to put a whole new one on, and were able to get a top 5, which was a great recovery for them.
Kvapil goes to 3rd, and that puts his teammate Sammy Smith on the bubble. 3 cars remain in round 1 qualifying. The 41, Sam Mayer. Outstanding effort in his first adventure with Haas Factory team last week at Daytona.
I wanted to find Sam this morning in the garage and just kind of get his thoughts on that last restart. Like, man, have you you go home after a race like that and you're like, what could I have done different? Or what happened inside the car? What should I have done different? He came so close on that last restart to being able to race to the win, and Jesse Love just did an amazing job and was able to clear him by the time they got to turn 1.
And I know when he got out, he said, I want to go look at that and see what I could do different. I watched it back and I thought, I don't know what else he could have done different. He's getting a push. It just didn't have the momentum to beat Jesse Love's amazing restart.
Sam knocks out Sammy. Mayer goes 7th. Sammy Smith is now 11th. And on the outside looking in, 2 cars remain. Round 1 of qualifying. Sheldon Creed in the 0-0.
Yeah, we spent some time with Sheldon in the garage earlier, and Adam, I'm positive that his heart rate is never over about 100.
Ever.
Man,
I told you he's a chill guy.
So calm, just
pretty
methodical. When you ask him a question, you can tell he's always thinking about, what he wants to say, and I mean, this guy, we say it each week, right? He's done everything but win. The 13 second-place finishes. It's been incredible. He will get his win this year.
We had some heated moments, and I still don't think his heart rate ever got above 80. I'm telling you, the guy is one of the chillest people I've ever seen. Not going to be very chill with that lap in 16th.
Yeah, especially when you consider that his teammate went up there 32.028 and Sam Mayer, who's 7th. Final car, round 1 of qualifying. On the bubble, William Sawalich. He's a rookie, and last year's Rookie of the Year trying to knock him off, and if I were wagering, I would put a decent chunk of change on the 2-car. Maybe not just advancing, but going all the way to the top. Look at the tracker. It's awfully good right now.
Yeah, we don't really need a tracker on this one. We can tell you the 2-car is going to be extremely quick. It was on the pole for both of these races last year, and we talk about it. One last week, has all the momentum on his side.
He's a qualifying machine when it comes to drafting tracks. And by a quarter of a second, 31.81, gets his teammate by 7/100ths. Love is going on to run for the pole.
Now, if you're William Sawalich, that doesn't sting so bad, because it's not like he got beat by hundredths or thousandths of a second. It was big margin.
And that's what we're used to seeing out of RCR, these speedways, just massive speed, single car speed. That's why they get to control these things.
Sawalich qualified 23rd for the truck race. He'll start the Xfinity race tomorrow in 11th. And Austin Hill among those moving on to round 2. Who gets the pole for race 2 at Atlanta Motor Speedway? We'll find out when we roll next.
On the CW, the future happens here.
In 3 years, they could be the main event at WrestleMania.
Welcome to NXT.
Let's start with the eye chart.
What makes you think I can read?
You can talk, and you booked an eye exam online.
Okay, good points.
Top line?
This is a quality, comprehensive exam.
Come again?
You asked me to top line it for you.
Okay. Bottom line?
Well, the bottom line is this is an amazing value. What? Get 2 pairs of glasses and an eye exam starting at $89.95, or 2 pairs of progressives and an exam for $159.95. America's best.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Equinox, starting under $30,000. And the all-electric Equinox EV, America's most affordable EV with a 315-plus mile range. Quality you expect at a dealer right down the street. It's your life, your choice.
It's my life, and I do what I want.
Or current qualified lessees can get this Equinox LT for around $259 a month. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Once upon a time, the world was filled with magic. Our job is to make sure that what remains doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
Welcome to the library.
With fatigue and lightheadedness, I knew something was wrong. Then I saw my doctor and found out I have AFib. And that means there's about a 5 times greater risk of stroke. Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if you have AFib, the risk of stroke is always there. If you have one or more symptoms, get checked out. Making that appointment can help you get ahead of stroke risk. This is no time to wait. Folks been calling this thing the Rising.
We're gonna need all the help we can get.
Why me? I'm nothing special.
Well, somebody thought you were. Damn apocalypse.
Glide Force Flex Max Strength Bags with a 2 times stronger top. For over-the-top strength. It's better than all good. It's all Glad.
250 miles from Atlanta Motor Speedway.
All right, here we go in Atlanta. Awesome day for a race.
You gotta have your shades on a sunny day in the ATL.
You never know who could win in the Xfinity Series.
2 Georgia drivers out front. Could he win it again?
Hell yeah, man. Let's go.
It's go time in the ATL. Looking forward to round 2 this season tomorrow. NASCAR Countdown Live comes your way on CW 4:30 Eastern Time. We're racing at 5. Ready for round 2 qualifying. These are the 10 drivers that move on to run for the pole. 7 Chevys in the top 10.
Yeah, I think the interesting part, though, it's 7 Chevys, but it's 2 different engine builders. You have ECR and HMS up there. It's going to be fun for us to watch. Do these guys, is handling going to be an issue? Are they still going to be quick in the race? How's that all going to play out tomorrow?
You also see RCR, Colleague, and Junior Motorsports of those Chevys. So kind of a mix of those organizations, all often coming with different ideas about how to tackle this place. We saw that the last couple of years. And yet they all end up in the top 10, of course, because they're kind of the ones you have to beat at these places.
4th in round 1, Carson Kvapil. What about it, Dylan?
Well, it's been a good couple weeks. Finished 4th at Daytona last week and in position to run for the pole here again today. So first time here of any kind of car. What do you think of this place so far?
It's pretty cool, really. To be honest, it kind of drives a little bit like Daytona, like we were at last weekend. And we were at a pretty good run there, finished 4th, ended up overall. And it was a little bit rough of a day for us, but we were able just to hold on and put ourselves in a good spot at the end. But I just can't thank this whole Junior Motorsports team on the Johnny Morris Bass Pro Shops, Clarence Chevrolet. Hopefully we can get to the second. Obviously we're to the second round, but hopefully we can try to go for the pole here. And I think we have a car that's fast as Xfinity Mobile, so I think we got a good shot at it.
As you studied for this week, what kind of jumped out at you about racing at this racetrack? It is different than Daytona a little bit.
It is for sure. When we were looking at a whole array of things, and I'd say the biggest thing is just how important it is to be in the right line. And it seems like if you jump out of line, even though you got a pretty big run, it seems like you're going to be parachuting out to the back. So it's going to be all about staying disciplined and not trying to take advantage of those big runs and getting yourselves in a bad spot.
Thanks, Carson. Good luck.
You know, Carson tomorrow will be trying to get Junior Motorsports their 5th win in the Xfinity Series here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So let's load up the time machine. Go back to 2010 when Joplin, Missouri's Jamie McMurray pulled the 88 into victory lane. How about that?
No, that was so much fun. And I mean, obviously winning is fun, but I got to beat Kyle Busch in what, you know, was his heyday. That was the time when he just won every Xfinity Series race. Look at the fans in the stands right there. It was a cool moment. Getting a win for Dale Earnhardt Jr. was awesome. He was, you know, my buddy at the time. We were both at a different time in our life, much younger, but yeah, that was a good memory. Thanks, Adam. I appreciate you bringing that up.
Do you remember talking about that this morning, the Hellman's car?
Yeah, you did. You remembered that.
I remember the Hellman's car. I said 2010, you won here, didn't you?
You had to have read that. Did you?
No, I have just a weird brain. A very weird brain.
Yeah, so does Adam.
You've won here twice. I mean, you also won here 2002. Doubling, that's Austin Hill. He's with him.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we're talking about winning drivers at Atlanta, yes, Jamie, but also Austin Hill. But as we look at that first round of qualifying, your teammate bested you by just a little. What do you have for this second round?
Well, I mean, our car is as fast as Xfinity Mobile, but our Bennett Chevrolet, we kind of knew this a little bit going into qualifying. We built a little bit of balance into the car. We still wanted the raw speed, but we wanted it to drive good. So there's kind of those two things that you're trying to mend together, and we kind of went that route of just, even though it's going to be cold, we still think that our Bennett Chevrolet needs to drive well. I think it'll be really good out front, but when you get mired back in traffic, I think if you're just fully trimmed out and have the raw speed, it's going to be really tough. So we kind of knew going in. I'm actually a little surprised with BMP2 right now, so maybe we can tune this thing up a little bit, get it ready for the second round, and see if we can best him.
Bennett is local to the area. They've got 500 guests coming tomorrow. Does that add pressure? Does that excite you? What does that mean for you tomorrow?
A little bit of everything. I mean, it definitely adds a little pressure just because I've heard it all week that I have to win this race. So we're going to give it all we can. Obviously, we've been good here. Everybody at RCR, ECR engines have always been fast and strong here. So you'll just have to wait and see tomorrow and see if we can get in victory lane.
We'll go in the pole first.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll try.
All right, we're going to let Austin climb aboard his Chevrolet, Dylan.
And from one Georgia boy to another, found Brandon Jones. No, last week was not what you wanted. I imagine that, one, you're happy to be home, but glad to put last week behind you as well.
Yeah, I think this right here is a great testament to, those little moments like that don't knock us down. I think we've got a really strong group for this year, and really happy to see this kind of speed this early on here in Atlanta with our Menards Atlas Toyota GR Supra. I'm thinking that hopefully I have a little bit left for this second round in the tank, and we can be as fast as Xfinity Mobile and hopefully get close to those RCR cars. They're so dang fast at these types of racetracks, but really, really happy with the speed and the balance that this car showed. And I think I got a little bit left, like I said, too. So hopefully, and looking forward to seeing what kind of lap we're going to put down.
All right, Brandon Jones getting ready to climb back aboard and go for the pole here in Atlanta.
So I've got great news if you're an Austin Hill fan. I got bad news if you're racing against Austin Hill. Do you want to know what it is?
Let's hear it. I'm on the edge of my seat.
So he talked about the idea of speed versus handling. The fact that they chose to go sort of the handling route, which means you usually sap a little bit of speed out of it, and yet both of those cars were the fastest two cars in the first round. I'm just going to say that is bad news for everyone else if they're not fully trimmed out and at the point of wanting to be as fast as possible.
I wonder, though, could that be like a crew chief sales job, right? Like the crew chief is like, hey, we're going to build some handling into this thing, and then you get there and it's really fast, and he's like, oh, I got a good handling car and it's fast.
Sometimes crew chiefs tend to sell loose guys.
No.
Right.
Mine never lied to me. Is that the problem I had?
It could be, Parker. It could be.
We'll find out who's rows 1 through 5 in a moment as we begin the second round of qualifying. Here's how they'll line up. 11th on back, Williams Sawalich, the first of this group.
Who sticks out to me here? Ryan Sieg. We saw him on the bubble for a while. I just got a feeling I think that's going to be a good one to look at tomorrow. Sheldon Creed all the way back in 17th, so definitely think they probably chose a little bit of handling over speed.
Yeah, CJ McLaughlin, we talked about him at the top of the show. Look at that. And being at Daytona, finish at Daytona, another solid effort for them. Jeremy Clements, Ryan Ellis, we talked. Is he going to be able to get his first top 10? This is a track that certainly can happen at, and then Matt DiBenedetto at the bottom of that. 11th at Daytona. Can they put together another great run this weekend?
We're looking back at the last couple here. Brennan Poole sticks out to me. Not the way Daytona that he wanted it to go. Just didn't get the chance. Got run over basically on the backstretch trying to just bide his time. I think he's looking to really bounce back here. And Garrett Smithley in there in 33rd. Had a solid Daytona going and just ended up having a mechanical issue. They want to bounce back from that full season effort as well.
We talked about the RCR show in the first round of qualifying. Third on the board, round 1, Christian Eckes, Kim.
Yeah, great lap for Christian in that first round. What you didn't see, he's standing here with me now, but you were doing your homework up into the last second looking at that first round. What do you take from that round, and how do you approach this round?
Yeah, just looking at the up-to-speed stuff more than anything. Yeah, I got sent at the wrong time, so the 27 was coming. That was almost a real problem. But overall, I think our 16 Leaf Filters Camaro is as fast as Xfinity Internet today. We'll see what we got in round 2, but feel pretty good about it.
Second Xfinity Series start, but we can't ignore your record here in trucks, a former winner in Atlanta. How different are these cars here than the trucks?
I think they just draft so much differently. Watching film and then from last week, there's definitely a lot more differences than maybe I thought at first. So, yeah, no, there's no doubt we'll learn every lap and be contending at the end, though.
Yeah, he talked about getting up to speed. It's the most important thing you can do as a driver. It's not that hard to hold it on the bottom at a track like this, but that launch off pit road, you sit in the car and you watch the official with the paddle, like when I get to go, and you're like, how do I get the perfect amount of wheel spin? How do I get through the gears perfect? How do I run as high as I can? And that's what he's looking at, just trying to optimize that.
In this first round of qualifying, Jesse Love picks up where he left off. Huge win last Saturday night in Daytona. This place never disappoints.
It's so intense.
Jesse Love, he's in charge of the field. We go to overtime.
White flag is in the air, but now they're crashing.
Oh, they're rushing.
Crash.
Finishes under review.
White knuckle time at the World Center of Racing. Jesse Love has elbowed his way back to the front of the pack.
Stalled him a little bit.
I listen to my spotter like he's reading the Bible.
Bumper clear up. There you go. Keep it square right there. Yep, good.
We make the moves as quick as we can, and at the minimum, nobody drives by us. They'll have to drive through us. The pushes were outrageous all night. Getting into one, I was swatting flies in there, trying to keep it straight.
Wiggling right there. Taylor Gray trying to hang on to it.
Oh,
the wreckage.
Crash.
White flag. Stay ahead.
Did the white come out before the yellow flag?
You're off there, eh?
All right, just get it back.
We set the pace here to save.
Jesse Love is going to win the season opener.
Hell yeah, baby.
I'm lost for words. This Daytona place is super special to me. You know, we're working on changing our culture here at RCR. We're winners. We know we are.
Nice job, guys.
We have our own mindset of making sure that we can go to Phoenix and have a shot. Everything from how we look to how we race and how we think, we gotta do it like champions. And I feel like we're in a really good spot right now. We just gotta keep it going.
Can't hide talent, in particular, in the draft.
No, and listen, we're going to, for the next 2 days, we're going to talk about how good RCR is at drafting style tracks, but so are the drivers. They have to make the most of the opportunities that are given to them. We heard Jesse Love talk about watching film, studying, how making the decisions with the spotter. And if you look at those results, I mean, the qualifying is exceptional, 4 poles. Just everything that he's been able to do, he's been able to manage the races once he gets out front. And that's where you really see the talents of the driver, Parker.
And what sticks out to me is a 9.57 average finish. For super speedways to have a great top 10 average finish,
you usually mix in a couple of 30ths.
Because usually it goes horribly wrong at least sometime, and you end up with some 30ths. So that's just incredible consistency. You see the brake check here for Taylor Gray. So basically what happens is NASCAR wants to make sure that you haven't pulled the brakes back. You're not doing any funny business there. So they make you accelerate, stop, and then accelerate again as you pull on the track. They started this last year in a couple super speedways and trucks.
Yeah, and everyone used to pull the brake pads back, so it wasn't really an advantage because everybody did it. But there were a few times that you would then get around after coasting around that you hadn't pushed the pedal down, and it takes a while to get to pump them back up, and they had some issues on pit road. So I like that they do that. It just eliminates an issue.
It was always the worst feeling in the world.
Ah,
when you can't stop. The pedal just goes to the floor. Like, no.
That's right.
In round 2, we go slowest to fastest based on what they did in the opening round of qualifying. So Gray was 10th in round 1, and the first on track here as we run for the pole.
Yeah, and the one thing that stuck out to me as I watched him go through turns 3 and 4 up to speed, he ran a little higher. These guys, the first time they pulled out, it's the first time they've been on the track all weekend. You go out, you get a little more comfortable. You're like, okay, I know how much grip it felt like I had on that outlap. You're going to run as high as you can, just trying to make the track as big as you can and build as much momentum as you can getting to that start-finish line.
He's good buddies with Ty Gibbs. Ty won the first drafting race here, 2022, with a last lap pass. And on the board with a 31.95 is Taylor Gray, quicker than what he ran in that opening round.
Pretty big pickup for a second run. Yeah, it's big. So that either sets the mark or they were able to find a little bit more speed just by having everything just a little bit more warmed up.
Well, and that would put you up to third. The 3rd through 10th were just all on top of one another. So if you can just find just a little bit more than those other guys, move up quite a few spots.
It's always such a mystery to me when cars pick up in the second round of Speedway qualifying versus don't. Sometimes you're like, oh, we've warmed everything up. I'm going to do a better job getting up to speed. I'm going to use more racetrack. You see Connor Zilich up here all the way up next to the wall, using every bit of racetrack possible to get the run. And then sometimes the lap isn't faster. And you're like, well, why was that?
Yeah, and I'm going to say that's impressive for Connor to get in that car and run that close to the wall on his second lap here. There's just such a comfort. He believes in his ability. His car obviously feels good. And some of the reason you see some cars pick up more than others is if you're really low in the back and the skirts aren't cut just where they need to be and you drag those, it'll knock a little more speed out of your car than other guys that had those set just right for the first outing. So maybe the 54 had those just a little bit long, knowing they were going to drag some off to make it optimized for the race.
I always want to think the driver did it.
Yeah, I know, Tom. I appreciate it.
7/100 slower than the lap put on the board by Taylor Gray, 32.02. For Connor Zilich, so he's second of the two that have been on track. Connor, by the way, going to do double duty next weekend at Circuit of the Americas, not only running the Xfinity race, of course he's full-time here, going to make his Cup debut on Sunday afternoon in Austin, Texas.
That is right. If you remember his last debut there in the trucks last year, what do you have on the field in qualifying?
About a second.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll pull that off in Cup, but I expect him to definitely be fast.
The only 4 to move on to the second round of qualifying, the 41 of Sam Mayer.
Yeah, and just to show you how good that was of what Taylor Gray ran, Zilich ran almost the exact same lap both runs, so no pickup at all from Connor Zilich on that lap.
Well, he had 2 100s pickup.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I hate you. There's people out there that want those 2 100s.
Oh boy, this is Parker. That's who Parker is.
This is what you're stuck with the rest of the year.
He's that guy.
Hey, the car's green. For just a moment there, the tracker was green, but it's flashed to red ever so slightly. We'll keep an eye. This is tight for Mayer trying to jump to the top.
And when you're in the car, you're pushing on the throttle pedal. It's hurting your foot. You're pushing so hard. Just give me just a little bit more right here.
And you're thinking, I'm not going to move my hands. I'm not going to move my hands.
Mayer opening round 32.028. Here he goes 31.93, and he is quickest at Atlanta.
Yeah, so almost a tenth of a second. You want to do the math real quick?
31.93. There's a pickup about a tenth there. Good job.
Appreciate it, crew chief.
We'll see where it lands.
There you go.
I didn't need to. He was doing it for me.
That was crew chief math. About a tenth.
Jason Trincheri on the pit box.
And I bet if it was 200s, he would have told him it was 200s faster. It matters.
Here's the hometown kid, Brandon Jones.
I tell you what, I want to see him have a great season. I feel like he puts in a lot of work. I know that he's doing the fitness, he's doing everything he can to try to be the best driver he can. I've seen him out at the kart track, just running laps, trying to get better at road course racing because he felt like that was a struggle. And man, when you see people work hard, you want to see them do well.
Such a nice guy, too.
He really is. He's a great guy. And yeah, I think the last 2 years were really tough on him. Just couldn't quite find the footing there. It just wasn't working. But he's going back to a place that he had so much success at, was able to win so often and be a part of the championship conversation. And so I just think with all his experience and being at a familiar place, you hope that that would turn things around for him, because Brandon is just an awesome guy. And he's kind of a veteran of this series now that we can depend to be there week in, week out, and to root for him.
27 years old, one of 2 Toyotas to move on to the second round of qualifying. Slots in just behind his teammate, 5/1000ths of a second slower than Taylor Gray. Brandon Jones is third of 4 on track.
Yeah, the Taylor Gray lap, that's going to be the best improvement here. He picked up quite a bit. You see he's second. He's already got 2 or 3 of those guys beat.
Maybe the biggest, but for sure, the biggest surprise, first round of qualifying, Josh Williams, but this is kind of his place, Atlanta Motor Speedway.
He's parked at one time. It just wasn't at the right time of the race.
Yeah, he was a little premature when he parked it. It was middle of the race. NASCAR was having some issues with cautions. Some debris came off the 92. They said, park the 92. Josh said, okay, you don't like the debris, I'll park it right here. Peace out and walk across the infield grass. Wow.
He had to be scared when the official walked over and was like, we need you in the trailer.
Absolutely. I remember that all going down. I was like, what are you doing here? What's going on? Somebody help me. They're trying to explain it to me. My crew chief's laughing, and ooh,
look at this lap.
Speed here.
Yeah.
He needs to make that heart sign again, because
right.
he loves what he's seeing in the tracker.
Yeah, this would be a good lap. He's tracking at about a 31.90 right now, losing just a little bit. Entry of 3. Doesn't like there's any wind.
It's going to put him for sure on the front 3 rows tomorrow. He's quickest right now, 31.92. Josh Williams came to play.
And if his crew chief comes on, he'll say about a tenth better.
we weren't tracking crew chief
audio.
audio.
Thank you, guys. Check it, right rear.
Oh, we missed it. It was before that.
Disappointing.
You asked for it too late. You needed to give them a heads up.
Connor Zilic was on track in his junior motorsports Chevrolet. He ran a 32.028. Here's his teammate, Justin Allgaier, the second of 3 JRM Chevys to move on to round 2.
Can I give you a little insight here, Adam? If you're a driver and you pull out for this lap, you want to get as close to the wall, not only for the momentum, it's for the conversation afterwards with your buddies. Like, you see how close I got to the wall?
Right there,
everybody, it's like it's
oh yeah, brother.
Like, oh yeah, I was definitely the closest to the wall.
And you want to be able to go to your crew guys and be like, nobody was closer. You saw that. The sparks were flying.
Are you like the Hulk? What are you?
I don't know. I was just saying, like, that's a, drivers get out, they're like, oh yeah, man, I'm the man.
Don't get me started on wrestling impersonations.
I'm an NXT guy.
Evidently, getting close to the wall equals success, right? Because look, the tracker's awfully good right now for Allgaier in the green, back to the stripe. How close is this going to be? Allgaier second by 0.06 of a second. That is close.
I keep waiting for the crew chief. Nothing.
You know what it was,
Come on, Pullman, talk to us.
Need to be closer to the wall.
That's right.
Pullman's just upset they're not P1.
Pullman's mad, yeah.
He's already in the notebook trying to figure out where they went wrong. The one is Carson Quapple. Dad, Truck Series champion. Travis won it back in 2003. And, he came on the scene last year, ran 9 races, impressed everyone, and really, he's picked up where he left off last year. 4th last week at Daytona.
Yeah, and I just, as they were doing the interview with Carson down on pit road, I just couldn't help but think, like, he's been really a late model guy, and then he's going to get in an Xfinity Series car here and run wide open. It's so impressive how these guys can prepare for the races and go out and get at a really fast track like this and be able to pull it off. It's amazing.
And this kid never ceases to impress me, because from when he first came into the Xfinity Series last year, like you mentioned, being just a late model guy, jumps in the Xfinity Series and immediately is up to pace, fighting for wins, and just across a variety of tracks. I can remember talking about Daytona last weekend. He had only been to Talladega, and I mean, it didn't faze him at all. So I'm not surprised seeing him just do big things right off the bat. 6th place on that run.
Yeah, and it gives hope for all those other late model guys out there right now that have raced against him. They're like, if I can get a chance, I can do the same thing.
7 of 10 in the books. Round 2 qualifying, 3 to go. Top of the board, that guy, Josh Williams. And next up, his teammate. Here's the rookie from New York, Christian Eckes.
Well, let's see if Christian learned anything about accelerating, leaving pit road, because if he runs a good lap, he's going to feel like it was all him and all that acceleration.
Although I did notice he didn't go all the way out to the wall early, because one of the things you'll do when you watch SMT, that sort of thing, is you'll notice sometimes cars that get really good runs, they'll go right out of the pits, all the way to the wall, almost like physically turning the cars right as hard as they can and get that distance going. So he didn't do that, so I'm not sure what he saw. Maybe that was hurting him.
But his interview gave it all away. He's a student of the game. You know, I mean, he's a studier. He does his homework.
Yeah, and the game's changed so much. We have so much data now, so many ways that you can prep before you get to a track. And then, you know, for him, you go do your qualifying lap, you get out and you see what can I do better.
31.96 is what he ran in round 1. Tracker is red. 700s off of what Josh Williams put up.
Yeah, he's going to end up running slower, actually, than what he did on his original run, which is interesting. You don't see that very often.
On board Austin Hill.
So let's see where he chooses to go. Does he go right or just straight up on the track? A little right. Tries to hit the banking smoothly. Now he's up to the top. As you go through the gears, you don't want to be too close at this area because no one's really run up there. You just get more dust on your tires, that sort of thing. Time your shifts perfectly. There we get to 4th gear.
Pulling the window net
a little bit. I'm going to say that we didn't see that. And now put your hand up, trying to deflect the air and put it just as hold that wheel as smooth as you can and have it just keep the radius, giving it the chance to get up to speed.
Yeah, and to do that, we saw Jeff Burton do it one-handed as well. That's harder. I mean, like, we talk about that at Daytona or Talladega, but it's a little different animal here at Atlanta.
I can admit the first qualifying lap I did here, I didn't do it. The second one, I was cool with it.
I told you, I just lied. I'm like, oh, I did it, for sure.
Yeah. He couldn't tell. They knew they had a camera.
Yeah, he has no choice.
RCR Chevys had a 10th on the competition in round 1, and they're fast again. First of the 2, Austin Hill, and look at the tracker. A 10th to the good. Off the turn 4, back to the line. We have a new leader in qualifying. Hill, a 31.79. That's blistering. He'll be on the front row for sure.
Yeah, fastest lap.
31.79.
Fastest lap we've seen all day.
Good job. 240 at the line that time. 10-4.
They'll tell the water temp at the line so the crew chiefs can write that down, put it in their notes, and use it for the next time they come back here. What do you think?
It's just automatic.
I think he does it.
I think he's got it.
I think it's the pull.
I'll be honest, Danny Stockman is one of the smartest guys in this game. He does an amazing job in qualifying with these race cars. Jesse does a great job behind the wheel, and I just think these two, as a pairing, have shown in the last year, and as we get into the start of this year, they're going to continue that speed in qualifying.
I'm saying 31.72.
Wow, that'd be 700s. Well, he's in the green. He's off to a good start.
That'd be just less than a 10th pickup.
No, it's not going to be as,
Look at this. I mean,
man, it's close.
It is, but he's gaining on it. I mean, if you look at where he exited 2, where he is now entering 3, the lap started good, and it's getting better. Talk about backing up what you did from round 1 to round 2. Second-year driver Jesse Love is fast. Boom, to the top, 31-73. It'll be Love that leads them to the green flag here tomorrow at Atlanta.
Third pole in a row for Jesse Love at Atlanta. Unbelievable. Good for that
amazing.
team.
And then for that team, Danny Stockman, the crew chief, I mean, he prides himself in the work that he puts into these cars at speedways. You know, that's really where the crew chief can make a massive difference. The team finds this to be something that they excel at and they can get excited about because they really are the biggest factor to this. And so I'm not surprised to see it, but it is impressive when you see a team like this go on a run.
Yeah, and I mean, you know how pumped Jesse
Good job,
Love,
brother.
Whole 2 team is to head into tomorrow, winning
Thanks,
that Daytona.
I just love this stat. I mean, if we're qualifying at a drafting track, you might as well go ahead and put those RCR Chevys out front. They've won 7 of the last 8 poles at drafting tracks when we've had qualifying. And RCR started 1, 2, and 5 of the last 7 on drafting tracks when we don't get rained out. They are so impressive. They bring the horsepower.
And what's most impressive about his lap, Parker, is that he's 2/10 quicker than Josh Williams in third. That's a huge margin. And if these cars are built with that little bit of downforce in, where they have handling and they have that speed, as you mentioned, again, they're going to be tough to beat tomorrow.
That's bad news for everyone else. But I wouldn't be too scared. Just having worked so closely with the RCR cars the last couple of years, obviously Big Machine Racing, similar to Kaulig in terms of being an affiliated organization. We saw often where these RCR cars could be really fast in qualifying, but at the same time, when we got in the race, it condensed a little bit.
It closes up a little bit.
So they definitely have tricks that they know how to work to make these cars so fast in a single car, but when you get in the race, some of that sort of equalizes out.
Jesse Love, undefeated on pole day at Atlanta Motor Speedway. 3 times we've qualified here. Each time he's been the man out front. Let's hear from him, Dylan.
And he is out of the car. So guys upstairs were talking about how maybe automatic it is when we come here that the RCR cars are going to be on the front row. Did you have that same confidence the second time out when you had to really lay it on the line?
Yeah, I'd probably be lying if I told you no. Our number 2 Wheeling Chevrolet was as fast as Xfinity Mobile, and I feel like obviously whenever we come to these places, I don't want to say it's a given because when you start expecting things, then you start to get your feelings hurt. But these guys just do such a great job. ECR, everybody back at welcome. They always make these J-Born Chevrolets fast. So it's my dad's birthday today, so I'm looking forward to seeing him. He's been my hero ever since I could remember, and he lands at like 7:30. So gonna go get dinner with him, but just proud of this whole Danny Stockman number 2 led crew, and looking forward to going tomorrow. Going to work my spotter Brandon Bennett and see if we can just stay out front, control the race. And I have a game plan for when we do lose track position, because I'm sure at some point that'll happen.
And you said the word expect, and I think we would maybe expect you to run well again tomorrow and have a shot at it. So what can you do? What can you control? What can you use that you learned from last year in this race and apply it to tomorrow?
Yeah, I would say safe fuel, right? But, we shortened we made the first 2 stages longer and shortened the last one by, I think, 10 laps. So that definitely helps us, but still got a safe fuel for these overtime restarts. And, man, I think it just kind of goes back to having the confidence in my spotter. And we've been working, really well together this year. So to keep that going and just trust what he says when I'm out front, which lane's a block, and try to get this top lane strung out a little bit.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
3rd straight Atlanta pole for Jesse Love. And Kim, it's an RCR front row tomorrow.
Yeah, the second half of that front row is his teammate Austin Hill. Your teammate bested you. What did you need in that second round?
I think we just needed our Bennett Chevrolet a little more trimmed out. We know what we have in the race. We didn't come here for 1 lap. We came here for 163 laps. So really excited with everyone on board with Bennett Chevrolet. It's the Bennett 250. That's going to be cool to be able to race for my sponsor's scheme and for the win, hopefully. So, like I said, our car was a little earlier as fast as Xfinity Mobile. Just came up a little bit short, but I kind of knew that going in. I know what they have, and I know what we have. So I don't know which one's going to be best in the race. I feel really good about our Bennett Chevrolet. So I'm fingers crossed. Handling becomes a little bit of an issue, and our car can prevail. But all in all, solid start to the weekend for everyone at RCR, ECR, and just try to get up front or stay up front and control this thing.
As you try and guess what we're going to see in tomorrow's race, especially what you need out of your car, these temperatures very cold. They're going to be cold tomorrow too. What's the expectation on how that will affect the racing we see?
Well, last year when we ran here in the spring, I think it was in the 50s or so. So it wasn't as cold as what's gonna be, but I even had a little bit of handling problems last year in the spring. So I expect some handling problems to come into play, and that's kind of what we're kind of built our Bennett Chevrolet towards, is some handling. So we took away a little bit of speed to hopefully be able to have a really fast Bennett Chevrolet for 163 laps.
That is Austin Hill. We're going to let him go. He's driving back to Douglasville, Georgia tonight.
Going to go visit with some of the friends and family that will likely join him tomorrow, and hoping to celebrate a third consecutive win. This guy's done it 3 times in a row. 3 straight poles for Jesse Love. He was the man today in qualifying. More coverage from Atlanta coming up.
Friday nights, you bring your A game. Flirty walks, you bring your A game. Bring your A game when taking care of your sexual wellness and include Apertude, a prescription medicine used to reduce the risk of HIV. Apertude helps give you continuous protection when taken every other month, and it's proven superior to once daily PrEP in reducing the risk of HIV.
You must be HIV negative to receive Apertude and get tested before each injection. If you think you are exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. More HIV testing may be needed. Apertude does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections. Practice safer sex to reduce your risk. Get Apertude as scheduled. Missing doses increases your HIV risk. Don't take Apertude if allergic to it or taking certain medicines that may interact. Tell your doctor about your medical conditions, liver problems, and mental health. Serious side effects include allergic reactions or rash, liver problems, and depression. If these occur, get medical help right away. The most common side effect is injection site reaction.
You bring your A game to everything you do. Ask your doctor about Apertude.
I need my best people on this. That means you. Her too.
Grab your fuzzy balls and come with me.
Slow down.
Who has more fun than us?
Parents have a lot of reasons to worry. Water shouldn't be one of them. Brita Elite is certified to remove 99% of lead. Clearly, Brita.
Let's start with the eye chart.
What makes you think I can read?
You can talk, and you booked an eye exam online.
Okay, good points.
Top line?
This is a quality, comprehensive exam.
Come again?
You asked me to top line it for you.
Okay. Bottom line?
Well, the bottom line is, this is an amazing value. What? Get 2 pairs of glasses and an eye exam starting at $89.95, or 2 pairs of progressives and an exam for $159.95. America's best.
First, they're sour. And then they're sweet. Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
Track activity on this Friday at Atlanta is all done. Busy Saturday coming your way. Cup qualifying happens 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You can stream it on Prime Video. Round 2 for the Truck Series, 1:30 Eastern on FS1. And we look forward to Race 2 2025 for the Xfinity Series. NASCAR Countdown Live happens at 4:30 with Carla Metz. We're green just after 5 o'clock Eastern on CW. And Sunday on Fox, it's the Cup Cars, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Dylan?
Let's catch up with Justin Allgaier, who has been so kind to hang out with us here for a little bit. So first thing I want to ask, so we've talked about the cold out here. When you're in the car, we always hear about how hot it is. So what is it like on a day or a night like this when it's super cold outside?
Well, I still have my jacket on. I probably should have my jacket off here, but it is freezing, and unfortunately that equates to even in the car. The engine heat is nice, you know, it allows it to be a little bit warmer. But the one thing people don't realize is fogging up.
Protect your melon.
Protect your melon, that's right. The biggest problem we got is, honestly, is your shield fogs up. You know, when it's this cold outside, obviously hot breath, your shield fogs up. So you can't run your blower for your fan because it takes horsepower away from the engine. So if the Hendrick Engine Shop does a great job, all of our partners at Chevrolet, you know, they want all the power we can get. We got a lot of Chevys up front. But again, you know, I said it before, qualifying, you know, Jim Pullman, this whole 7 team, the amount of effort and time that they put into, you know, not only qualifying, but just this event and the super speedway style racing is really second to none. And, you know, proud of the effort. And you know, it's going to be an interesting race tomorrow. You know, a lot of different conditions than we have right now. So we'll see what happens. But as he said, buckle up, protect your melon, and we'll go have some fun tomorrow.
Fourth tomorrow starting spot for you. Is track position more at a premium here than it is a place we were at last week in Daytona?
I mean, I think it depends on what the temperature of the water is when the race starts, right? Obviously, having an entire RCR front row, you know, they're going to be able to control the start of this race, and understanding that and what their idea will be will kind of let us all get in line really quickly and figure out what that looks like. So, you know, having the truck race before us is a great thing. It gets the track, any little bit of, you know, sand and dirt that settles on the surface, it really widens out quickly with the trucks and allows us to get side by side and really race, and a lot of times 3 wide here. So, you know, I think that it's going to be a great race tomorrow. I'm excited. I'm optimistic. And, you know, handling is going to be a premium. That's not something we saw at Daytona. So, you know, handling is going to be a premium tomorrow. So hopefully we made that fine balance of handling versus speed.
Thanks, Justin. He'll start fourth tomorrow. Kim, are you ready?
I'm ready. Josh Williams is ready because he starts third, his career best start in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He told me we're not done yet. So what do you have for tomorrow?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, we had a good run going at Daytona, and, you know, Colleague, they've got really, really good speedway cars. And, I mean, this is a speedway race, right? So, you know, shout out to them, everybody on the team, Alloy Employer Services, you know, ECR Engines. We're going to win one of these races, and hopefully this is the one. I mean, I love this place, right? And everybody here loves me, I think.
I think they do.
It's crazy. They call me the mayor of Atlanta, but I don't know if I want that job. But, man, we got some fast race cars, as fast as Xfinity Mobile, and we're going to try to win this thing.
What kind of prep do you have left to do before tomorrow? What does your evening look like?
I'm going to hang out with my wife and my baby and have some fun. Eat some food. I'm hungry. And go win this thing tomorrow.
I think you need to do one more heart signal for the camera because I felt like that was good luck during qualifying. I will hold your Celsius.
Celsius. Let's do it. That's for you guys. Thank you.
Awesome.
He'll roll off third. Yeah, love it. And he's got the mullet going, too. He asked if he should brush his mullet on air, and I said, yes. There you go.
And hey, for what it's worth, Kim, we always call Jeff Burton the mayor.
All right, let's go eat.
He won here twice, in 06 and 07. Now, Josh
I
Williams
like the chances.
is calling himself the mayor. Maybe he's speaking it into existence.
We're slowly but surely getting nicknames for everyone.
Here's the starting lineup for tomorrow.
Yeah, we talked about RCR right there on the front row. Sam Mayer is one that I've got my eye on. He's been good at these type of races. Taylor Gray, we talked about how well that car ran last week at Daytona. You see the rookie Carson Kvapil starting right behind Taylor Gray, and then Connor Zilic right behind the rookie Carson Kvapil. A lot of youth up front, Parker.
There is. Speaking of youth, Williams Wallace there on the inside of row 6 besides Sammy Smith. The one I have my eye on, he's a Georgia boy, maybe a Georgia Bulldog. Ryan Sieg over there, starting outside of row 7. Nick Sanchez in row 8. Jeb Burton at the back of those rows.
Yeah, CJ McLaughlin started our show off. First guy out to go out and qualify. Really good starting position. Dean Thompson behind him. Jeremy Clements is always fun interview. Fun to hear what he has to say. Matt DiBenedetto, great story from P11 last week in Daytona.
And Brennan Poole there in row 16, trying to turn around Garrett Smithley. Went in the wrong pit box during green flag stops last week. They're going to fix that this week. They got a new pit sign for him.
How about this stat? 7 rookies qualified inside the top 15. What a talented class. One of them hanging downstairs with Dylan.
And that's Connor Zilic, who will start 10th tomorrow. So I got to know one thing. Did you get enough rest today before your qualifying lap?
Yeah, no, I did. I was sleeping in there. The only reason I got up is because I had to go to a rookie meeting. So, yeah, it's fun. Obviously, Jesse, he got the pole, of course. Those cars are fast, and I think we've got a car as fast as Xfinity Mobile for tomorrow. Excited to see what we got. Going pack racing again. Excited to get these 2 races out of the way and get to Coda next week, a track that is a little more in my wheelhouse. And yeah, no, looking forward to the race tomorrow, though. Going to learn a lot and hopefully have a fast WeatherTech Chevrolet.
Thanks, Connor.
I love the fact he doesn't hide it. I mean, I'm going to survive this tomorrow. I can't wait to get to Coda, you know?
Is there anywhere safe for him to sleep these days?
I want to know, why is he sleeping so much?
Well, not just that, but
Go
he
to
and
bed.
Jesse Love have this whole competition of finding each other and photographing their sleep.
Well,
I think this was his dad.
Yeah, Connor's dad threw him under the bus right here. I mean, come on, Dad.
There's
You know
nowhere
what
safe.
paybacks are. You know what paybacks are.
They're tough. They are tough.
Yeah.
Hey, we're talking about the rookie thing. Now, I want to go to this. So Jesse Love starts on the pole, right? I said he's undefeated on pole day here at Atlanta. The last time a driver won the pole in his first 3 starts at a track, Austin Dillon, 2012, 2013. In 2012, he was Rookie of the Year. 2013, his second year, he wins the championship driving for RCR. Who was his crew chief?
Wait a second. I know. Danny Stockman.
How about this?
Do you know who hopes that you keep reading all that off and that it works out? It's going to be Jesse Love.
I know, and I keep saying it, and I feel like you don't want to beat a dead horse.
No, but
it's
fascinating.
It is
all of the similarities between Austin Dillon and Jesse Love with the same team, the same crew chief, and hopefully the same results.
That wouldn't surprise me in the least because of what he did last season, and he's also super fast at Phoenix. So if he makes the Championship 4, that is one to watch for sure. And I just love that sunset. What a beautiful sunset, boys. I'm excited for tomorrow. Let's go.
I'm telling you, it's going to be one of the best races of the year. Atlanta last year, both races were phenomenal, Adam.
Daytona was fun last week, but I'm looking forward to being even better tomorrow here in Atlanta. Qualifying is done. NASCAR Countdown Live comes your way on CW tomorrow, 4:30. We're racing at 5 with Kim and Dylan and Jamie and Parker. I'm Adam. Congratulations, Jesse Love.